Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. Just sitting outside the trailer on a hot and muggy day here in Kentucky. It's my day off. Yeah, we were supposed to get like thunderstorms all fucking day. Um, Never happened. So I'm a little bummed out because I like to do shit on my days off. But worst case scenario, I ended up just chilling at the house and saving money. If anything, maybe making a couple cents for podcasting. It is August 1st, 2024, I believe. Yep. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Little heads up, I do have plans. I'm going to last day off, it was a rainy day, so we stayed in and watched tarot. And I have like a new ongoing series that we've been doing inspired by psyop cinema, so go check them out. Shout out, tell them who sent you. Maybe they'll give me a shout out too. But psyop cinema is an awesome fucking premise. Basically, it's a conspiracy podcast, and all they do is watch conspiracy related movies and do reviews on them, talk about them and shit. And I was like, I've done a couple movie reviews, but I was like, man, I should make that a segment for Conspiracy Corner Podcast. So I started Conspiracy Cinema, as a little nod to them, you know. But last episode, movie review, we did, and Sammy joined. She tagged along, my co-host, my wife. We covered tarot. That's right, tarot. And then I did a tarot episode later that night about the horoscope spread. So that's a double feature you can check out. We've also covered Not Leave the World Behind, Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. I covered personally, Late Night with the Devil. And yeah, so tonight we're gonna watch Civil War because everyone's talking about it in the community, and review that. Hopefully Sammy tags along because it's easier and better content with two people rather than just listening to me ramble on and on and on and on. But I had a cup of Joe and was rolling cigarettes and chatting my wife's ear off, and I could tell I was getting on her nerves because she's wanting to play video games and watch her video game channels and stuff, and I get it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go outside and just podcast. Make myself useful. But that's it for an update. Let's get into the show. So this episode is done out of love. And knock on wood, the guy I'm going to be talking about, I'm not going to use his name or anything. And it's done out of love, not hate. But he's a QAnon guy. Let's call him Brian. And he's one of my best friends because he's into like all conspiracies or most of them. And that's why I like him, because he's my conspiracy buddy and we talk conspiracies together. I don't have too many people I can talk conspiracies with except for my little brother, which I don't talk to that much, my older brother, which I don't talk to that much. But I talk to this guy about conspiracies and shit, you know. We'll talk flat earth, moon landing, Dogman, paranormal. You know, we'll send each other shit. Trump assassination here at the moment, the most recent one. But man, he is into QAnon really, really hardcore, and I've tried to get him out of it, and I've told him, he's even said, it's not a cult, bro. It's not a cult. And I don't know if you guys have had any experiences with cults. And but usually the first sign that something is a cult is when your family member's saying, it's not a cult, bro, it's not a cult. It's usually a red flag. And I told him too, I was like, dude, I'm not trying to be like a hater or nothing, but it is a cult. And I said, you know how I know? And he's like, how's that? And I said, because I'm in a cult. You're in a cult? I said, yep. And I didn't tell him Alcoholics Anonymous because it's a friend, but it's a coworker. And I don't want people at work knowing that I struggle with alcohol and shit. But I told him, I said, just because first of all, the word cult has been demonized. And he just converted to Christianity this year. He's always kind of been a Christian, but he's getting reestablished in his faith of Christianity, which is cool, you know. Me personally, I'm anti-Christian, but I support the Constitution and everyone's right to free will and do what thou wilt and believe what you want, you know. And if it makes you a better person, then I support your journey through Christianity. I accept everyone, you know. But cult. The word cult has been demonized. And I explained to him, I was like, you know that Christianity was a cult, right? And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. The early Christians had to hide the fact that they were Christians. That's where a lot of people don't even know that. First of all, the Jesus fish, it symbolizes the age of Pisces. And also, when you were talking to someone on the streets in like Rome or Israel or Middle East, wherever, you would draw half of the Jesus fish, and if the other person was Christian, they would draw the other half. And that's how you would keep it secret and keep it safe, but you would know that, hey, I'm a Christian too, you know. And I mean, a lot of early Christianity, when it was in its cult phases, like, they had to have church secretly. I mean, otherwise you'd get thrown to the lion's den and shit, you know. And I told him that. I said, cult is not a bad word. The only thing that makes cult religion is literally membership status of after, and I forget, you'll have to Google it. But basically, the amount of members you have after it reaches a certain point, it goes from a cult to a religion. It becomes accepted as a religion. So, but I feel like he's a cult member because it's like, he'll sit there and he'll go, I'm done with Q. I'm done with QAnon. Because he listens to Praying Medic and Charlie Ward. I'm pretty sure that's the dude's name. He's like a bald guy. He's a scumbag. Yeah, I don't like that guy. I'm pretty sure his name's fucking Charlie Ward. It's Charlie something. But he had Mel K on his show one time. Mel K is cool as fuck. At first I didn't like her because she was into like the QAnon shit, if I remember correctly. And she's kind of gotten out of that whole movement, which is cool. Kind of like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was real big into QAnon and then she got out of it, which I respect. But Charlie Ward, okay, Mel K, it's already out in the open, so I don't care to say it. Mel K used to be a porn star. I'm not gonna lie, I've tried looking her up just out of curiosity. I can't find her, so I'm pretty sure she was like amateur and just did it for a very small period of time. And she is pretty. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, I'm I'm classic liberal, and people have tried to get me to join the Libertarian Party, um, but because of my beliefs, they're like, "Oh my God, you're a libertarian," and I'm like, "No, I'm not," and they're like, "You should be. You have a lot of libertarian beliefs, but." I believe I'm classic liberal, you know. I believe my body, my choice, that you should be allowed to do whatever you want with your body as long as you're not harming someone else. I don't judge people for doing pornography. Um, Hell, there was me and my wife, you know, have been trying to help other people financially and get ahead in life. And I was like, dude, we should do OnlyFans and just blur out our faces and shit. You know, I'll put a band-aid over my tattoo so no one will know it's me and shit. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet. It's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get the money for the rent, you know? Um, so I don't judge her. I'm pro prostitution too, you know? Um, but yeah, she was on Charlie's show and he just comes out and brings it up. And first of all, this should be common sense. Pretty much every porn star is literally, they use aliases because they don't want people to know they're porn stars. That's like Belladonna. Sam Tripoli used to have a show back in the day called The Naughty Show, and it was him interviewing porn stars. It's actually an awesome podcast. You should check it out. But Belladonna, by the way, she was a wicked actress. Like, you could tell she was one of the few actresses who actually enjoyed doing her job. She was a freak in the fucking sheets. Awesome chick. But she got out of porn, had a kid, got out of porn. She made her money, got her bag, and left. And she doesn't go on any shows anymore. There's people who, you know, run into her at her daycare center and they're like, oh my God, that's Belladonna and shit. But she wants to live, she wants to put that in the past, you know? So he should have known that Mel K was going by an alias, first of all. Second off, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you introduce someone and then just immediately bring up that they were a porn star right off the bat? And you and your guy buddies, she's like the only chick in the interview, and she's surrounded by a bunch of dudes who are like, ha, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I did my research on you. You know, I love your work and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's scummy, dude. And he's a scumbag anyways. He's a grifter. I'll fight the dude. I'll fight him for charity. Yeah. But I went off the rails on that one. But yeah, I was telling him he relapses. He'll my buddy, not Charlie. My buddy, he'll give up on QAnon for like a month or two, and he just keeps getting drugged right back into it. And I don't know if you guys could give me advice in the comments if you've ever dealt with someone who's in a cult. But it's a fucking cult, man. And it is harmful to his life. And one of the things that is like harmful is like he will base his vacations around QAnon. You know, he'll be listening to some Q-tard that'll say, hey, you know, there's going to be a blackout and all the elites are going to get round up on July 16th and the white hats are going to win and there's going to be military tribunals on TV and shit. And every time I take a vacation, and I take my vacations the same time every year, July 16th and November 25th. I take a week vacation for my wife's birthday and I take a week vacation for mine. And every single time I take a vacation, he goes, oh man, that's not a good time. And I go, what are you talking about? And I already know where he's going, but I'm being rhetorical. I go, what are you talking about, man? Why is that not a good time? He goes, oh, there's supposed to be some stuff going down that day. And I go, stuff going down. I keep up with the news and stuff. Pretty sure nothing's gonna happen. And he goes, no, that's when the white hats are gonna round up all the elites, and we're gonna have a blackout, 10 days of darkness, and there's gonna be military tribunals on the radio and TV and shit. And I just go, okay. But it's ridiculous. And this is how bad it's gotten. If there is someone out there who's going, well, why do you care, Abe? QAnon's not harming you. No, it's not harming me. But it's harming my friend who I love and care about. So he literally has been listening to some fool, I don't know who it is, because a lot of these grifter QAnon people, content creators, if you want to call it content, are grifters and scammers, and they do finances too, especially Iraqi dinar, which I'll get into that in a little bit. They literally have been telling their fan base that the IRS has been disbanded and to not pay your taxes. This happened last year. And I keep up with what's going on because I actually do my research. If anything, the IRS has actually been expanded, not disbanded. They've dropped like, I cannot remember the amount of zeros, but it was like millions or billions Joe Biden did into the IRS. They armed the IRS. They are now armed. They are considered like agents now, so they can all carry sidearms, which is terrifying. They are doing more investigations on people who are not paying taxes or committing tax fraud in any form, lying on their taxes. They're buckling down. So this is why I think, honestly, QAnon is a psyop, because it's like, I swear some of these people in the QAnon community, I gotta pee, hang on just a second. But yeah, anyways, what I was saying, the point I was making was, I swear that, and you know me, I'm not going to point fingers and say this person's controlled opposition. I can't stand that within the community, that everyone's controlled opposition. I can't wait for the day that somebody says Abe Williams is controlled opposition. Oh, okay. I live in a fucking junky ass trailer. I have a junky ass car. Like, yeah, I'm Illuminati, bro. Here, let me give you my sign. Okie dokie. But you see, dude, QAnon popped up out of nowhere, and like hundreds of content creators, once again, quote unquote, popped up out of nowhere and had like thousands of followers. And I've been in this game for 6 years. And I'm not saying woe is me, woe is me. Go check out my last episode. I told you that be careful what you wish for. It might be a blessing in disguise that my channel is smaller, because if it was super huge, that means that I'm a threat and a target. But that, and no one likes me because I'm a realist and use Occam's razor, and I'm a skeptic and still a conspiracy theorist, but I try to be a realist too, and people don't like that. But all these people popped up out of nowhere, like hundreds of them, and their channels were just automatically blown up, and I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Like, my Q-tard friend will come up to me and be like, yeah, I'm listening to, obviously this isn't a real person, but like, he'll be like, I'm listening to Jonathan Smith, dude. And I'm like, who the fuck is Jonathan Smith? Like, I'm supposed to know. And he's like, yeah, dude, he's been a truther for like years, man. He's awesome. And I'm like, but then when I mention, like, I don't know, like any top name, like Jordan Maxwell, perfect example. I'm like, oh, dude, I found this old Jordan Maxwell lecture. You should check it out. Who's Jordan Maxwell? Like, how the fuck do you call yourself a conspiracy theorist and not know who, like, the top names are? Like, I can sit here right now and name off, like, the heavy hitters of conspiracy. Every conspiracy theorist knows them. David Icke, Alex Jones, William Cooper, Jordan Maxwell, Graham Hancock, Georgios Tsoukalos, Zacharias Sitchin. You could throw Joe Rogan in there if you want. Like, dude, like, you could just name off, like, tons of different conspiracy theorists. And, like, the most common, everyone knows them, he'll be like, I don't know who that is. And it's like, yeah, because you're listening to weird fucking Q people, dude. But I think a lot of these QAnon people are fucking agents, man. And I think that they're purposely working for, like, CIA or something, trying to get, like, newly red-pilled people imprisoned by telling them stupid shit like, don't pay your fucking taxes. And, like, my buddy, man, last year he didn't pay his fucking taxes. He started getting into, like, sovereign citizenship stuff, which is cool. I delve into it. By the way, he doesn't know who Jordan Maxwell is, and I tried to explain to him, like, Jordan Maxwell was talking about sovereign citizenship and maritime law and all that jazz and legalese and just etymology, all that shit, back in, like, the 90s and early 2000s, dude. And all these people in the Q movement take Jordan Maxwell's work, use it, and never give him credit. That is one thing that I will keep hammering down on this, and I will be a broken record. I don't care if it gets on your nerves. Give credit where credit is due. If I come up with an idea that is similar to someone, and they inspired me on that idea, I always give credit. Or at least try to. And sometimes it might be the next episode. I'll be like, oh, by the way, last episode, I blah, blah, blah. This person. Shout out to them. I'm always giving shout outs, dude. Because give credit where credit is due. You don't steal people's shit. You know? Especially Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell and Manly P. Hall literally were like, well, Jordan Maxwell, I know for a fact, was like a couch surfer, and he would literally do lectures for like a meal and can I stay in a sleeping bag in your living room floor tonight, and I'll do the lecture. That's the type of shit that Jordan Maxwell was doing. He never got married, never had kids, never had a vehicle. Jordan Maxwell was the fucking bee's knees. He dedicated his life to research and waking people up, red pilling people. He's a fucking saint of conspiracy. But that's my conspiracy, that these people are fucking agents. And I laughed at him. When I found out he didn't pay his taxes, I was like, good. I said, I hope they get you. And he's like, what? You hope they get me? I'm like, yep. You need to learn your lesson, buddy. I told you, I warned you, this QAnon shit is fucking insane. And it's literally causing harm in your life. No, it's not. You know, it's teaching me. What is it teaching you, bro? That on July 16th, 2023, something's going to happen and it didn't happen. And you get depressed. It is affecting your mood. It is affecting your personality. He would literally hear about something that's going to happen from praying medic. And when it wouldn't happen, he would be depressed for 2 or 3 days. And I'd be like, what's wrong? And he'd go, oh, I just thought something was going to happen this weekend. And I'd play dumb, being rhetorical. Something was going to happen? Huh. What do you mean, buddy? Well, the White Hats were supposed to arrest Hillary Clinton this weekend and execute her, and I was supposed to watch it on TV, and it didn't happen. Now I'm sad and depressed. Aw. Yeah, I guess you shouldn't listen to fucking idiots then, huh? Um, and he's my friend. I do care about him. I do love him. That's why it bothers me to see him bummed out. And I keep trying to pull him out, but it's like, but yeah, I told him, I was like, I hope you get arrested and have to spend a year or two in jail and feel what it's like. I've been to jail 3 times. To me, I think everybody should go to jail at least once. It's a good learning experience. Um, Even if you're not guilty of something, I think everybody should spend like at least a day in jail as like community service of like, sorry, everybody's got to spend one day locked up. So that way you see how it is on the inside. And I think a lot of people would start caring more about jails and prisoners and um, become advocates for prison change and stuff like that. Be a good learning experience, especially for judges. I think if you are going to be a judge and sending people to jails, I think that should be part of the program to become a judge. Kind of like police academy, they pepper spray you, tase you, tear gas you, so that way you know how it feels, so you won't just automatically do it to someone else. I think that's what they should do to judges. If I was a politician and running for president, that would be one of my platforms I would run on, is making judges go through a month of jail. Not even prison, just a month of jail. You have to go in and spend a month in jail so you know how it feels being locked up and what they see and what they experience and what goes on in there before you just start willy-nilly handing out sentences to people. You need to experience it firsthand. So that way it makes you more careful before you start punishing people. But I told him, man, I said, you need to do some time. You need to learn a lesson. And when you do spend a year and a half or 2 years in jail for not paying your taxes, yeah, maybe you'll stop being a Q-tard. Tough love. And that's tough love because, like I said, I love this person. And I feel they need some tough love, dude. You know, and if he sees this, I love you, Brian. I love you. But you know you're stupid on shit. But yeah, he bases his fucking vacations around QAnon. He gets depressed when shit doesn't happen about QAnon. It's crazy. He's getting into sovereign citizenship, which is good. Hey, I'm all for it, you know. If you want to get into sovereign citizenship, that's cool. But I did warn him. I told him when he started getting into it, he's like, I'm not gonna, because I already know his mindset. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna have a license anymore. I'm not gonna have to pay taxes on my car, no registration. It's like, yeah, that all sounds cool. And you would have money to pay for all that shit, because one of his thing, he bitches about Joe Biden's economy all the time. He's a big Trump guy. And it's like, hey, you know that the economy is so bad right now because of Trump. And this is coming from someone who voted for Trump, so I don't have TDS before you blow up my comments. Trump literally printed it was like billions or trillions of dollars for the pandemic relief and shit. We are having the aftermath of Trump's presidency. That's why the economy is so bad. And Joe Biden's getting all the blame because he is the king right now. Well, you know what I mean. He's the puppet of probably Barack Obama. But he's the scapegoat. He's getting all the fucking blame. Which I don't like Joe Biden, so fuck him. But I do point that out, though. This is because of Trump. So when he gets back in office, he could fix it. He'll probably just print more money and shit. This is why I'm voting for RFK. It's like, dude, you've got to stop printing money. You're devaluing it. It doesn't fix it. It's a Band-Aid on a gushing scar that's bleeding out profusely. You're slapping a Band-Aid on a gushing scar. You need to put stitches in that shit. And I think that RFK would stitch it up. because he said, I'm not going to print money. If I get presidency, I'm not going to print money. And I'm like, yeah, got my fucking vote. But, he bitches about money, but he gambles it all away, and he gets into foreign currencies. He spends all his money on literally dinar, Vietnam dong, XRP, which it's cool, but that's a gamble, and he gambles. He plays lotto. He goes to a casino every now and then, gambles it all. And I'm not judging. I'm not casting stones. I live in a glass house. I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I have my own addictions that I deal with and struggle with, so. But, what was I saying? I think that's about it. I hit the 30-minute mark, and I'll probably do a part 2 to this, because I barely got into the surface, but I was feeling real chatty and wanted to put out a podcast, and I'll put out a podcast later, maybe 2, because I'm off all day. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know if you guys got a friend or family member who you're trying to get out of this QAnon shit, because it's a struggle when you love someone and you see that something is genuinely harmful to them, and it's like a cult, and I don't know. I love them. I'm trying to get them out. Yeah, pray for him, dude. Pray for my buddy Brian. Maybe cast a spell, do some magic wavy fingers, something. Energy. Send him some good vibes, But that's what's going on with my Q-tard friend. Let me know if you vent in the comment section. Let me know if you guys deal with some Q-tard idiot too that you love and you're trying to fucking it makes you want to smack the shit out of them. But tough love, Y'all have a good day, and I'll catch you later.